Hey everyone, welcome to another video. My name is Elric, and in this video, well, I kind of messed up on the table creation, data entry, and the code generator. Mainly the code generation because I forgot a very important piece, and that is this data point nullable or not? So in this video, I'm going to run over the data entry that I did to create the relationships, very similar to the default video. And I'll show you the slight modifications I made to the code, and you get to see token tables get rebuilt again. So hope you enjoy, and I will see you soon. Okay, so instead of doing a keynote like I normally do, since this is so similar to creating a default on a data point type, I'm going to pick it up from the relationship and what I did. So I grabbed a dump of all the data point types that I had, and then I added a new column here just to help me sort them so you can see them better in the system relationship. Just kind of went through and, what do I want nullable and what don't I want nullable? So most of the very important columns are not nullable. And some of the very sparse columns are definitely nullable, like key name, abbreviation, descriptions, cleanse to ID. We're not cleansing everything, so has to allow nulls, sequences, etc. And everything else is not nullable. And I think this looks pretty good. Yep, this looks really good. So I had to create one more process, which is the reflect not null process. And essentially I just went to my function, altered this function reflect null, put a not in front of it, went to the code, put a not in front of that, and I can show you that real quick. It's super simple. Added it to my process table, so I have another thing to call. I created two more definitions under, actually that is a very important question and I was not prepared to answer. Nullable data point type is the new definition type that I created. And then I created two definitions under that, nullable and not nullable. Very simple. And then the relationship, I have nullable and not nullable related to FNC, reflect null, and FNC reflect not null under the definition to process relationship that we declared a while ago in the default video. And then definition of data point type, this relationship type, that's when, I used my flag that I created in this sheet to just kind of group them all and just paste all the rows down. So that got me my nullable and not nullable column sets. And I will go ahead and scroll down. Actually, that is the full picture of all the data point types that we have. So yeah, now for the code. Let's see. Code was pretty simple to modify. Here are the additional pieces of information that I added. I added a script to actually call the process because we'll be dynamically calling the procedure to figure out is this nullable or not. We need to pull a process name because we don't know what function we're going to call. And we need a process value, which is why we have the parameters in our SQL script this time. And then I just need access to two relationship types, the definition of the data point type and the definition of process. So also in my modification, I kept everything very close together, so I didn't have to go all the way around explaining it. This was the additional piece where I got my definition of the data point relationship type because I don't need to call it every single time in the cursor. Same thing with definition of process. Please remember, if you are copying subject to subject, if you're copying this data, these are functional and not organizational. All right. And then I filled in my nullable parameters. Process value is going to be an output and it is an end varchar. And then just the code, select process value equals whatever the process name is. And because we categorize these under dynamically called functions, it would be Generic key, text, and JSON, I believe is the order. And because it's a reflect function, none of those matter. So I just hard-coded null in for all of these. So the code inside the cursor, everything remains the same, except for right when I make my decision that, hey, we should proceed to try or to attempt to add this data point to our list for creating a table. That is when I started. I cleared out my process name variable because it's inside the cursor. And then I retrieve the process name from the process table. And this is kind of a very common way that I use relationships. We need to go from data point type to definition to process. So it's pretty easy knowing the data point type ID is coming in from the cursor itself. We can say, hey, this is a child, and the parent would be the definition because definition the data point type, and then it would go up, hey, the parent is coming from down here, definition the process, we need the child, child's the process ID, let's get that process name. So just pure happenstance that we don't get a value back, we're going to say that it is nullable because we don't know what to do, and we should never get into this position or into the situation because the first video of our next sprint, we're going to enhance the data point type creator for the UDTs, and we're going to add this functionality in there, and I'll show you how I expand this system on an outward level. But anyways, if the process name is I'm clearing out the process value, and if the process name is null, I will make sure that the column is nullable. If not, we're going to dynamically execute the process that we got returned. And finally, I did add a little bit I added a little bit to the concat function where we're adding a space and then the process value. So it would say identity11 space not null. It would say, UDT str key name space null. So that was actually it for the addition to the code. Not a lot, but very important piece that I left out because it does ruin things later down the line when we're trying to send nulls to trigger default inserts. It messes up. So I tested it on message. How I did this really is I just used tasks to generate scripts, and I only removed the tables and views on a drop, script as drop, but I no longer have token in here. So token was 11, and actually since we are past that video, boom, let me go ahead and add the foreign key in here and save this. Building something like this and saving it's going to be very important because we just want to open this up to make sure we're all good. We may want to add this into a procedure later on, but right now we're just going to keep it handy until we get the full breadth of what we're trying to do in our head. So subject 11, token on the dataset key name. Run it. Boom, done. Refresh. Going down to token. My keys are there now because of the last video. And if I look at the columns, we have not null and null. Apologies for that, but hey, it was a very easy addition, feature add type deal. Kind of helps give you more of an insight on how to expand these things as if they were already created. In this case, they were. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and hope you enjoy. Please remember, like this video and YouTube will recommend it to users in our industry, and subscribe to support me. Have a good one, and I will see you for tech debt and the retro planning video.